Some of us have experiences studying in Kenya University, and some of us don't. And all of us have experiences studying in America. So, Kate, why don't you tell us your experience?
So, my experience, I never went to college in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did high school and then I came here for college. But when I came here, it was different because, like, in some classes, I was the only black person. And it wasn't so bad. But when the questions of race came about and inequality, like, everyone looks at you. Mind you, you've been here for the first time. I'm African. I'm not African American.
Yeah.
But, they expect you to know the answers. So everyone would look at me and they would expect me to have the answers, but I didn't have the answers. But definitely being the only black person in a class would be uncomfortable. But you do what you have to do. I had fun. I met some very great people here. Only one of the other weird experience I had was my senior year, when I was in a club, a school club that had like all like white kids, and we were trying to help an NGO in what was it, Burkina Faso or something. So we were trying to help that NGO, and I was part of the executive team in that club, and so they were asking that. They were asking
Congratulations, brother. Congratulations.
How should we help this NGO and contribute towards the needy people in Burkina Faso, and so they were wondering what should we donate or what should we give them that would help them. And I was the only black person there, and they all looked at me, the professor, the other executive team members. So they looked at me, and one of them had the guts to say, "So, kid, what do you think we should give these kids?" And I was like, I don't know, because I'm not from Burkina Faso. I wouldn't know what they need. Just because I'm from Africa, just because I'm from Africa doesn't mean like we all share problems.
Yeah.
Generally, So
Yeah.
they asked me. I told them I wouldn't know. So
That's true.
I would. They always assume that
We all need it.
We all know each other.
we all know each other. So
and we look alike.
that question, yeah. So that question caught
Got
me
me
off
fucked
guard,
up.
and they were all looking at me for the answer. I wanted to ask her, why would you ask me that question? But I was cordial enough to say I don't know what to give them. And then they ended up suggesting something even more stupid. They said we should donate deflated soccer balls. I was like, what?
Maybe it's not funny.
It's not even. So
not
they
funny.
said we should donate deflated soccer balls. I was like, what do you mean deflated?
For
How
what?
would that help kids in
Yeah.
Burkina Faso? So
Mhm.
the only thing I said, we should write a check to the NGO. They would know best
Yeah.
how to use that money. So that was my experience though, but it was really good. I had fun. Other than the awkward moments whereby you are the only black person in the class, I think. Other than that, it was good. So yeah.
I think for me, my biggest issue was people not recognizing that I'm African and they think I'm Black American, and they'll be like, Black American, and be like, no, African. I'm an African, not a Black American. And the other thing was, people will be like, can you repeat what you just said? Can you repeat again? Come again. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was very
Every time.
irritating for me because, like, I think I speak clearly. We all speak English from a young age. So when people say they don't understand what you're saying, and they also have their American accents too, and you're like, so what if I was to tell you the same? I think it's just ignorance to some extent.
Yeah.
But what I found interesting was that my first semester of college was my last, like what we studied in high school.
high
It was
school,
so weird, and being forced to redo that. No, I don't know if it's just being forced because
Yeah.
they say that they do not acknowledge the grades of the grading system. So it's like you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But for me, I think studying here is easier than studying in Kenya because they are straight to the point. They have the resources to help you, and they don't waste time on things that you do not need to know. So it's just easier for me to study here than to study in Kenya. I did not go to a university in Kenya because I came straight from high school to here. So I don't know about the struggles of studying in a Kenyan university as opposed to some people. And I don't know any other thing. I think that was just the major thing for me. People telling me to repeat myself again.
When you move from a system in Kenya whereby you have to answer questions that are written, like
Yeah.
short answers, and you come here and everything is A, B, C, D.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier.
It's
Yeah,
very
way
easy.
easier.
It's easier, yeah. So
Mhm.
Me. Stupid questions.
Just
No, for real, like stupid question.
Mhm.
Somebody asked me like some guy, like we are two Africans in class. I was like, do you know this guy? And I'm like, this guy is from the other side, like the other side of Africa. How am I supposed to know? They are like assume like everybody in Africa knows each
Comes
other.
from a small
Yeah.
like
place.
Yeah.
Africa is one big country.
you're
Like-
from the same village.
Yeah, you're same from the same village. Like they assume like everybody knows each other. And like, but whenever I came here, like I was taken to a class that was like actually pissed me off as addition and subtraction.
college
Yeah.
I feel you.
Addition and subtraction.
Like,
And you have to pay for it.
and exactly you have to pay for it. And the thing is, there are people who are failing in that class.
Yes,
Keep on playing. ESL is even better.
Even
but,
even
but they
people,
assume if you come from Africa, you can
you don't. Yeah.
speak
Yeah,
or write
you don't know
English.
anything.
There was this professor who told us that even like the Africans who come and do ESL do even more better than the people who are born here.
Of
He said,
course.
than the white people.
Of course.
Not that we are trying to say. I think the thing is not that we are trying to say like African kids by any means are smarter than the people who come here. No,
Yeah.
We
They
have
just they look down upon
They-
Africans though.
they do, yeah. But the African kids here, they work hard, man. They work their asses off, and they try and make something good of themselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What about you, Chris? How was your
For
experience?
me, I've had stupid questions.
Like what?
Being in a class full of white people, I was the only white.
Oh.
I was the only black guy
yeah.
in that whole class. So there was this classmate of mine. She asked me if we have roads back at home. So like she asked, yeah, she asked me if we have like big roads, like from here.
Like highway.
Yeah, like highways.
Tarmac roads.
Yeah, tarmac roads.
Me.
I have my experience from the University of Nairobi, civil
The one
engineering,
and
and the one and only, and also here. So UN was pretty chilled. One very uncommitted professors.
Our little
Yeah, no, not a. You know, when you say they're not paid, but they don't even show up for classes. You cannot compare.
just
They
cancel
don't
cla-
teach.
ca-
They don't
University of
educate.
Nairobi,
Yeah,
right?
they don't educate. You can't compare. And of course, yeah, I used to feel that type of way, but I only got to understand the extent when I came here. Is when I saw how bad it was. Because when I was leaving UN, let me be honest. The one class I got a soup in was
a what?
supplementary was Calc 2, that's Pure Math 2, and that's the one class nilikuwa naketi hapo mbele IMAX, like at the front.
Uh-huh.
But I put in so much effort in that class. Then I came here and did minimum effort, and I mean minimum effort. I didn't even submit all the assignments, and I got an A-.
That's true.
So you cannot compare. They don't educate there. They appear sometimes, they say what they have to say, but in terms of educating, they don't.
I feel like back at home, the students are the one who put in more effort.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because there's
yeah.
that pressure that comes from back at home.
Yeah.
Where are you from? You know, people are from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
You know how people used to like wait for the professors back at home to finish what they're doing. Here, when
Oh,
let's
bro.
say the class is
No.
ending at
10
3
minutes to
man,
time.
10 minutes to time. Everyone is packing.
They
Everyone
don't
has
even, they
the.
say, Professor, you have 10 minutes.
But
Bro, I have this
yeah,
guy, like,
you have
I
to-
have
I did.
this,
I didn't mind that part though. It's
No,
like, let's go.
I have
That
this
was
guy
good,
from
bro.
Saudi. This guy has no chills. Like
Just walks up.
class ends at 11. By 10:45, even when the professor is explaining to us the next assignment, the guy stands up
Really?
Like,
and he's talking to the professor like this. So when is the next class? And I'm like, yo, dude,
No
sit down.
chills.
Like no chills. And then I realized that's the culture here. Like people don't wait for the professors
Yeah.
to finish what they're saying. They just immediately hit like 10 minutes before the class ends. Everyone is ready to go, man. In Kenya,
I think
like,
it depends with the class, not in my class.
But that's mutual respect where the professor respects your time.
I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
Not in
Here?
Kenya.
Not in Kenya, of course, not in Kenya, but here.
Yeah.
But then professors in Kenya are
They
rushing
can
to
do-
go to another school to teach. God. So my first college writing class, we had to group. So I think I grouped with a couple or just these racist guys, but they didn't want to interact. You know, just one day I was like, I think I've had enough. So I stood up, you know, in a manner that caused attention, and loudly asked another group,
Uh-huh.
can I join your group?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
that's how it
I
should be.
walked and
Zero
joined
chills.
their group because, hey, you can't waste my time, and I know better, to be honest.
Yeah.
I know better, so you can't really. So I walked to another group. The other incidents I had was this past semester. It was a soils class. There were 6 of us in the class, and we had to divide ourselves equally, meaning we needed 3 groups of 2.
Yeah.
So nobody wanted to group with me. I was the only female. I was the only black person in that class. So I was like, I'm Jiski. So I picked my equipment, did my lab, finished before everybody, and even helped them and submitted my work. But the professor was kind enough to highlight the issue. Why does nobody want to group with her?
Yeah.
But my professor was supportive all through, and my professors have been
I
supportive
think
all
I'd
through.
like to say most professors are good here.
Yeah.
My experience mostly it comes from pretty much the entire education structure out here. For starters, is you get graded.
Tanzania kwanza, because we don't know.
Tanzania, it's pretty much just like Kenya, but hard work pays. That's that's the way it goes. Like hard work pays.
Yeah.
But unlike here, whereby you are given credit to every stage you participate in class, whether it be answering questions, homework,
Extra credit.
extra credits out of nowhere. When I got here, I was like, hey, okay, I'll do them just because of class participation that I was required to do. Then at the end of the day, I came to know that okay, this really, really, really counts towards my grade at the end of the day. Cause I did get a lower grade because of Taris getting late to class. Bless you. Getting late to class. I did not know that was a thing out here. I would always show up. Actually, it was just for one class, college algebra. It was at 8 in the morning. I had to go pick up my best friend. Like, we stayed at different places, so I had to drive all the way to pick him up, then come with him to college, where we would take our class. And mind you, that pretty much was around winter time. So
The
whatever,
roads.
whatever comes your way. When the roads are good, you drive fast. When the road is not that good, you get to drive slow.
I think you should join a
So-
nursing class. Nursing, they tell you you cannot be late, you cannot miss a class.
Then yet again, a good experience came from actually my college writing, one of my college writing classes, whereby, the book we use, like, it's called
Keep kisimani.
No.
No.
Come.
Come. I say.
Get
I
out,
say.
yeah.
I say.
They say,
Yeah.
I say.
I say. So our professor actually was leaning more about the nutritional topics, like how the American food is being processed
we
and
did that too.
everything, and yeah.
Is that the say I say?
Yep.
Yeah,
CIC
exactly.
For
book.
real?
Yep.
The CSC is like a referential. book,
Yeah, it's a
like-
good
Hey.
referential book.
My best experience, La Roche, our professor took us. We were only 3 people in the college writing. Me, Nick, and Andrew. She used to take us to IHOP to review our paperwork. Yes,
I hope.
IHOP.
Okay,
We are
okay.
reviewing college writing, and then I remember Nick ordered. He didn't know. At that time, he didn't know a T-bone steak,
Jesus.
3 fluffy pancakes, an omelette. Wait, hot chocolate. And the professor was like, "Are you sure you're going to finish?" And he was like, yes. The plates came, not one plate. He was like, "Bella, are you gonna help me?" Checker. Oh my god. But that was the best experience. She used to take us to IHOP to eat while she reviewed our papers. I don't remember her name, but she was really nice. And she used to bring us pizzas in class.
Hey,
and pop.
hey.
Wow.
Your
It's only three
$8,000
people.
was worth it.
Only
Well
3
spent.
people.
It was well
Hey,
spent.
It was well spent.
As
So,
you say 10,000 and
um,
nothing. You only get those Dunkin' Donuts.
Like you
Yes,
got
we get
Dunkin'
nothing.
Are you
Donuts.
sure they're from Dunkin'? Because they could be from just a gas station.
Yeah,
like-
maybe you don't know.
So the fun part about that class was actually the other students, whereby once they knew how the food was being processed, like pretty much 90% of them said they're going vegan.
Oh,
Like-
really?
For
yeah,
a
like
week.
they say, like I'm not going to eat meat again after this and
I
all
had a
that.
class like that where the professor taught us how like meat is processed and how much water we use and how like she was trying to teach us to go green.
College
And she-
writing too?
No, it was another class. And she got to me and said, "So what did you learn?" I said, "Professor, I'll be honest with you, I'm not gonna cut off on meat. I was born this way. I've been
Exactly.
eating meat, but I'll promise you one thing. I'll be taking I can't take shorter showers. I said I'll be
Shorter shot. Oh.
shorter showers.
Shorter
Shorter
Listen,
showers.
The water consumption.
I said I'll be turning off the water when I brush my. You know how you
Oh,
brush
yeah,
your teeth
yeah,
and you
yeah.
let
Yeah,
the
just
water
let the
run?
top-
Yeah.
yeah, you let
But
the
I'm not
water-
cutting down on any meat or
Meat.
anything.
I think that's one of the most positive
Gotta beat
things.
your
Like,
meat.
Bro, you gotta beat your meat.
Yeah, you know.
like the college writing classes, they
Exactly.
When you're righty, I'm a lefty. Just
they,
for the
they
record.
force you to do research, and in the process you learn a lot.
Yeah.
You really learn a lot, so that's one of the things I appreciate. Yeah.
All right.
So, coming down to generally how participation came about and everything, here it's more, I don't know, like you say it is more individual. Like you have the
Yeah.
people who just mind their own personal space. And I respect that. Like people mind their own personal space, and I respect that. But during a group discussion or a group work, it's a
Yeah,
group.
yeah. You need to
Yeah,
help each
'cause
other.
I've had multiple students saying like, okay, I'll take care of all the writing. Just give me your points, or I'll work on the PowerPoint. Just forward out what you want to present at the end of the day. And I was like, we could have actually
Done it together.
Done
done
it
it together,
Met
all of
up
us.
and
Yeah,
just discussed it.
yeah. Like, but a person just takes responsibility because they don't want to participate.
Include
like,
include themselves in
Actually, I actually had this one experience. Like, it was one of my computer classes, and one of the students said that, "Yo, we don't need to do all this work. I'm just gonna find somebody and pay him, and he's gonna do everything. Like, for real. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna pay it down. Doesn't matter how much it costs." Pretty much that was cool, but at the end of
And
the
then
day,
they-
you're like,
don't know
You're
nothing
losing.
about
you're
it.
not gaining anything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, when you find it in a test. And
Education here requires discipline.
Oh,
Compared to
definitely.
Kenya, it requires
Definitely.
discipline more than anything, because you have to
In
submit
Kenya-
and
assignments
discipline is
on
Kenya-
time.
and discipline is assignments,
Oh
keeping
my
time.
God. That's what I
Yes.
was saying.
yeah, like
The
being
thing
on
with
time,
here,
yeah.
like in Kenya, when you're smart, you can get away with
Yeah,
anything.
you just do an exam
you
and
can
that's
you
it.
can go to class late. You can just do the exam, but
you cannot
in the
even show up to
US,
class for
yeah,
Man.
you cannot even show-
Exactly.
But in the US, you have to be there for the assignments, for the participation, for the
homeworks.
homeworks, for
like
for
like
the
my
tests,
first
everything.
time
Yeah.
like those first times when I was starting school, I usually was late for my classes. I was exposed to that lifestyle back at home. You can like classes in like 10 minutes. Who are you? You get out of the house like 5 minutes. You end up being late like for another like the next 30 minutes. You're not in class. But here they taught us how to come early in class, being on time.
Doing the many
Doing many
assignments.
The
assignments,
thing is,
and you know how to
Projects.
balance your time,
Yeah.
assignments.
discipline
And
goes
you
a long
you
way.
choose your schedule. So I don't know, how was this? Did you choose your classes?
No, not
Or you
really.
had a shed? Hey,
Schedule.
Schedule. A schedule.
It's okay.
a set schedule. Like,
Yeah, like
you
you could choose some,
Ah.
but some were just set. If it's like you are, if some were set like you have to come in the morning, you have to be in class by maybe 7 or 8. But some you could choose, maybe you want it like once a week,
Gosh.
or maybe on Fridays. Which on Fridays, man,
Ah,
school.
never.
Like even on Fridays, people used to choose the morning schedule, because in the evening, people are going to
Die.
go back. People are going to go back at home on Sunday. So you want confusion in the evening.
For me, I think I like also the comfort level. Like, people don't care. Me, I used to go to class in pajamas and,
Yeah,
It
Nobody
is what
cares.
it
it
is.
is. Yeah,
Nobody cares.
man, who cares?
I remember my
with my
brother.
breakfast.
My brother used to dress up so much, like when he's going to school. In
Oh.
US, like nobody
Nobody
cares.
Nobody
Who
cares.
cares?
No,
man?
but you
In
see
shorts.
here,
Strathmore.
you have to wear
official.
official. But you see,
I have friends there who dress up in shirts.
but you
trousers.
see here, you're driving to school, then you're getting into class, then you go about your business. But for us,
Hakuna vumbi.
exactly, hakuna vumbi. But for us, you wake up, you dress up, you go to school for the whole day, and you're there the whole day. You have to interact the whole day. You go to lunch, you meet everybody,
Yeah.
and then you go back home in the evening. So it's quite a different setting, even socially.
Yeah.
So here you can go to school in pajamas, go home, shower,
Yeah, even
change,
you
do
can
your thing.
you can come
Go to
like
class with a
if you
hangover.
Oh my god, I was to talk
All
about
those.
that. Like, here going to school is easy.
Yeah,
easy.
It's
so
easy.
It's relaxed.
You pack and go to class.
man, here
Then
we just
in the
here
evening,
we just
yeah, exactly. In the
ignition unagurumshia gari ukiwa home.
kwa nyumba.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Oh,
We're not
okay.
there, not there yet.
Okay.
Sorry for another day.
Teneni
Hey.
na sponsor.
Esponyo.
Uh-huh.
This is unscripted.
Unscripted.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Hey,
Thank
put it in
you.
my chichi corners.
Thank
All right, man. We'll see you in a bit. Peace.
Ciao.